It's Pastor Kim coming to you with a midweek message. Listen to the words of this familiar and beloved psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Rabbi Harold Kushner believes that the 23rd Psalm answers the very important question known to all humans, and that is, how do we live in a dangerous and unpredictable world? I think that is a question we ask each and every day. Whether you're reeling from a personal tragedy, if you know someone whose life and property is in danger from the wildfires out west or the hurricane season that's well underway, you wonder, I wonder, how do we live in a dangerous and unpredictable world? COVID-19 and the incredible havoc it has wreaked around the world make us ask, how do we live in a dangerous and unpredictable world? I think that Rabbi Kushner is right to point us to Psalm 23. No, it won't give us direct answers to our questions, but it will give us something even more important than answers. It will bring comfort and the promise of God's own presence, always and forever. Sometimes it's good to remember God's promise was never that life would be fair or easy. No, God's promise was that when it's your turn to confront the unfairness or the randomness of life, no matter how hard it is, you will get through it because God will be there on your side. He will give you the strength that you need to find your way through, even when it feels or looks or seems impossible. Let's look at some of the verses in this beloved psalm. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Now the psalmist isn't saying I will fear no evil because evil only happens to people who deserve it. That's not what the psalmist is saying at all. He's saying this is a scary, random, out of control world, but it doesn't scare me because I know that God is with me. God is on my side, not on the side of whatever it is that's threatening me. God is on my side, not on the side of the illness or the accident or the terrible thing that happened. Maybe that's enough to give you the confidence to get out of bed and face each new day. The 23rd Psalm is a good answer to the question, how do you live in a dangerous, unpredictable, and frightening world? I believe in a loving and compassionate God, and I know that you do too. So when you see children dying or when you see innocent people suffering, when you see young parents stricken with an illness, how can you believe in a God of love and compassion unless you're prepared to say, some things happen in the world that God doesn't want to happen in the world either, no more than you do. You think that God wanted 210,000 of our fellow citizens to die of COVID-19, along with countless more around the world? Of course not. God is good. But the randomness of the world isn't always good. Far from it. Randomness is blind. It's amoral sometimes. Fires burn and bullets wound and falling rocks injure and disease germs infect everybody, whether you deserve it or not. Now, Rabbi Kushner wrote that he was inspired to write his books by the death of his son, who was 14 years old when he passed. He had been born with an incurable illness. So even though they knew this was coming, of course, the grief of a parent losing a child is beyond what anyone can take without God's presence. So let me read this quote to you from Rabbi Kushner. I asked myself, how did my wife and I get through that? You would think that would shatter the faith of the average person. Where did we find the strength and ability to raise him, to comfort him when he was sick and scared, and ultimately to lose him? The only answer is when we used up all of our own strength and love and faith, there really is a God who comes to replenish your love and your strength and your faith. Sometimes people who have been hurt by life get stuck in the valley of the shadow, and they don't know how to find their way out. But the good news is that they don't have to find their own way out. That's God's job. The role of God is not to explain and not to justify, but to comfort, to find people where they are living in darkness, to take them by the hand, and to show them how to find their way into the sunshine again. End quote. Dear friends, wherever your heart is today, I invite you to reflect on the words of the 23rd Psalm and look to the promises that you read there: guidance and presence, goodness and mercy. The shepherd's promise to you in the midst of whatever life brings your way. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I look forward to seeing you for drive-in worship on Sunday, October 18th.